Good day, everyone, and welcome to our ProTraining technical webinar. Today we have Jim Shaver from AP&G presenting. He will discuss promotion and profit through private labeling. Before we start, I'd like to review a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. Here's a quick review of what you'll see on your screen. To the left of your screen is the viewer where you see the presentation. To the right is a control panel where you can ask questions. The control panel will collapse automatically when not in use. If you want to keep it open, click the View menu and uncheck the Auto Hide control panel. You have joined this webinar in listen-only mode, which means you are muted. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions by typing them into the questions pane of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will address them during the Q&A session at the end. Please note that we may not be able to answer all questions due to time constraints, but we'll do our best to cover as many as possible. Additionally, via the control panel, you can download the resource document provided by our presenter by accessing the Handouts pane at any time during the webinar. Later today, you will receive a follow-up email containing the recording of this webinar for your reference. With that, let me go ahead and introduce you to today's speaker. Jim has 35 years of experience in the pest control industry, with a particular expertise in the commercial and hospitality industries. His career has included several years with international pest companies, with 16 years of his career spent starting, growing, and managing a commercial pest control company that served the pest management needs of more than 35,000 hotel rooms in Southern California. He joined AP&G 6 years ago, and his territory includes the Western U.S. and Western Canada. Jim, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chris. I sure appreciate the opportunity to be speaking with you folks today. I will be going through a presentation here that I like to call Promotion and Profit Through Private Labeling, and it's designed to be informative and provide you hopefully some more information than you already have about our private labeling program. And hoping to go about 30 minutes or so, maybe just a bit more, ask for any questions that might pop up, and then we'll go on with our days. And if we do neglect to answer any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. My contact information is going to be on one of the slides, and of course, Veseris. You can always reach your Veseris rep to put you in touch with myself or one of my colleagues. So with that, one last thing I'll mention, and by way of apology, I'm in an airport, and occasionally a little bit of background noise might show itself, but we'll attempt to push through that and get this information across to you. So I'm going to dive in. Catchmaster, we private label, and the first question that I get from people, the most common question is, can I afford to private label? And there are a few reasons why people ask that question. The first is, with any private label opportunity, no matter what the product, there's always got to be a minimum order, and sometimes you just can't make that minimum order. Sometimes print plate costs, there are some setup costs that are required, and that can be expensive. Lead times can be challenging, and if lead times are just a reality of life, but sometimes you'd like to do something, but it's going to take 6 or 8 months to set it up, and who has that much time? Our private labeling program has many of those items covered. Low minimum order quantities is the first thing. We can private label as many as 100,000 glue boards, or we can private label as few as 50 cases. So there are some flexible options available to overcome that high minimum order quantity problem. Right now, and I have to emphasize that this is just right now, we are not charging plate charges. And sometime in the near future, we're going to start doing that. And that's just in response to some costs that we have to absorb. Right now, you can get in with no plate charges. And with our future orders, there are always going to be options that even if we're charging plate charges, there's always going to be one or two options where there are no plate charges. Colors, with our digital private labeling, we do full color customization. So we can print even, I've had one customer that I think they had 11 or 12 colors in their logo, but we can accommodate that. And again, with our digital private labeling, we can turn them around quite quickly. It's perhaps 3 weeks, 2 weeks, if we can rush it through the system between receiving your order from Veseris and the product being produced and shipped. What can be private labels? Almost anything. There are some limitations, but as you note on the left, we can private label a glue board. We can private label most of our glue boards. We can also private label our multi-catchtraps on the right. We can private label snap traps. We can, in some cases, even private label the packaging that goes into the glue boards. So as long as we can make the minimum order quantities work for you, the sky's the limit. I mean, we can do just about anything. But there are some very common glue boards that are private labeled. This shows our 72 Max glue board. That's our most private labeled glue board. And I wanted to use it as an example of our digital private labeling. So we've got two types. The first is our standard private labeling, and it allows you full customization. So you get to print on the paper side, you get to print on the glue side, you get to virtually design anything you want. That typically has a 1 pallet minimum order quantity. We also have a digital private label. It's just a different process that we go through. And because it offers lower levels of customization, we can offer these at much lower minimum order quantities. So as an example, this 72 Max, we can make that as few as 50 cases. It does provide less customization, but if you note this picture here on the right, you get the bottom flap, essentially. Your logo, your contact information, your QR code, it's all right there in full color. And when you fold that item, you fold that glue board into a box, you see it here on the right, your logo's right on top, and you're able to grow your brand, customize, and do what you need to with much, much lower levels of customization. These are made right here in the United States in our plant in Bayonne, New Jersey. They are co-branded, so it's still going to say Catchmaster on there, but your logo is going to be prominently displayed and it will be in full color. So it's going to be the most noticeable item on that glue board. So we provide digital printing on a limited number of products. The 72 Max, our 72DH, which is a door hanger, and I'll provide you a lot more about that in a minute, and our 288i and 100i insect monitors. So these items, these 4 items can be digitally private labeled at much lower minimum order quantity amounts than you might expect. Now our standard private labels, again, just to reiterate, they just provide full customization. You can print a picture of your face on there. You can print just some customers have us customize these purely with colors. They just want it bright green or bright yellow or something like that. You can do just anything you want. There are some color limitations. We cannot do this full color. And it does take a little bit of extra time, 6 to 8 weeks, because we do need to make printing plates. So we're going to manufacture your printing plates, order your ink, so we get exactly your colors, and then we'll keep those forever, so that in 6 months or in 1 month or in 2 years, whenever you're ready to reorder, you don't have to make those printing plates and inks again. But as you note on the bottom left side of this slide, don't read all this. It's way too much information. I just like this because it shows that we can really private label almost all of our glue boards. So as long as you can handle those minimum order quantities, the sky's the limit. I will say, as we're going through this, sometimes minimum order quantities become an issue, but almost every customer uses way more than they realize. Because keep in mind, if you're especially using this for promotion and profit, you're trying to grow your business, this is not an operational tool only. It's a marketing tool as well. So I've got a story that I tell all the time. I had a customer that there was a misunderstanding, and he signed the paperwork and it said 50 cases and so forth. But he got an order of 50 cases and said, I only wanted 5. And by the time we had a chance to sort of try to work out the problem with him, he had used all 50 cases. So he went through them in a month and a half versus he thought that 50 cases was a year or 2 year supply. So typically when you're marketing with them, they go much quicker than you would realize. Just showing some examples again of different types of private labeling. As an example, that the digital printing on the top left, that shows you again, you get that customization on the bottom flap, and that puts your logo and your contact information and your customization right on top of the box. The flip side to that would be our standard print, which is on the right top in this grid, and it shows you, whatever color, whatever text, what other picture you want, you can do it. The bottom left shows you an example of a private label we did for someone. They just felt like they were catching more mice with black glue boards because mice tend to like a shadow. This looked more like a shadow than not, and so we customized the color of the glue board. They didn't do it for marketing purposes; it was operational purposes. The last one I like to show is the bottom right, and it's just an example of how detailed and how creative one can get with private labeling. This customer just really did a lot of marketing on this glue board. Since we're talking about a tool, I never like to do one of these things and neglect to provide some technical information as well, because even if it is a marketing tool, we want it to work. We want you to be as effective as possible in the use of our products. So just 3 quick notes that I want to share with you. And this is the case with any type of trap, whether it's a glue board or a snap trap or a multi-catch trap. Follow the shadows. Look for shadows. They're both rats and mice are looking for shadow lines that they use to locate themselves back and forth. So if you're in a room and you start looking around, look at where the light is not as bright, and that's where you need to be placing your traps. Secondly, the straightaway is far more effective than corners. And the reason for that is glue boards in particular, they're blunder traps. Mice and rats do not come to a glue board and um, investigate it and really look at it and say, hey, wow, do I want to step in this? They run through it. So if you're in a straightaway and you're running from one corner of the room to the other, or from the couch to the chair, you're running fast when you're in that straightaway, and you're far more likely as a rodent to step in a glue board. It's a blunder trap. And lastly, use the pheromone trails. And I was going to call this pre-baiting, but it's not really baiting. If you put glue boards out in a high traffic area and rodents run over the top of them, meaning you have not pulled the release paper off, those rodents will start to deposit urine and pheromones and oils and all kinds of items that make it less likely that that rodent's going to avoid the trap. So remember that you can kind of season a glue board, as well as snap traps and many other things, by putting them into a high traffic area where rodents are likely to encounter them. And then once you're ready to start that aggressive trapping, you just pull the release papers off, and they're already used to running through those. Okay, so I just wanted to reiterate a couple of other options that people don't realize. I think multi-catch traps are, well, we certainly use them a lot in the commercial part of our industry. I think they're not used enough in the residential part of our industry. They're a great way to catch mice. And this shows you the options. We've got color up variations. We've got windows to make them, you can see the glue board to make it easy to view the glue board below. We can press the logo into the metal. We can put silkscreen logo on top. There's just a wide variety of options available. Now, these do take a bit longer, 3 to 4 months. But once we've got it customized and everything worked out on that initial order, it's much quicker to reorder. Just remember that we can also customize and private label wooden snap traps, plastic snap traps, just all kinds of opportunities. And if you're using these as a marketing tool, I think most folks are leaning towards a glue board. And I'll talk about that in a second. But if you're using operationally and you just want to private label your equipment you're putting out in the field, remember we can do that as well. All right, so let me talk a little bit about marketing. And I mentioned this earlier. It's our door hanger. This is a really popular, recently released product. What we decided is that, let's create a marketing tool that one can use for clover leafing, for blanketing a neighborhood, for just getting your name and your information out there, but make it a usable tool. We found that the discard rates when it comes to putting a flyer or a door hanger on a door, the discard rates are much lower if it's a usable tool. The customer sees that as a value, that you've provided them a free gift, and they're not as likely to discard it. So that's what this is. It's really simple. On the left, we see our standard private label. You can fully customize and put your logo under the glue. You can put your whatever marketing message you like. I've got some customers who use this as a service tag. If they're doing multifamily housing, they want to advise that tenant or that resident that they've been in their unit, and we have a little line on there that says we were here today on, and they just fill in the date and whatever else. So it's highly customizable. The right is our digital private label. So again, There's a little bit of a trade-off. You do not get to customize the left side, the glue side, but you do get to customize the paper side. So in that red box, you get your logo, your QR code, your marketing message, all of that in full color. So the difference between these two, again, is the left side is fully customizable, but it's a minimum order quantity of 1 pallet. So in this case, 250 cases. That's not a lot when you're putting them out and doing clover leafing. The right side is our digital private label. You get less customization, but there's only a 50 case minimum order quantity. So it's a really nice opportunity. It's becoming very, very popular. And if you're clover leafing already, or if you're not, you should be, especially in residential settings. It's I did a little calculation. Let's just say your technician is hitting 15 stops today, and they're going to the door to the right and to the left and across the street. So that's three houses per stop where they're putting out a flyer or a business card or a door hanger. So that's 45 glue boards that technician's using today times 20 days a month. That's 900 glue boards. That's this 50 cases is just 4 months worth of glue boards, of door hangers for one technician. So again, you can kind of see that these are going to probably fly off your shelves faster than you realize. And they're a great tool to do that. They're inexpensive, they're easy, they're usable. And we've got several customers who've shown a significant increase in business just based on using these items. I just, it's just a little redundant, so I'm going to slip through it. But the thing I like to point out with our digital private labels, it's full color, it's a shorter lead time, and it's got a much lower minimum order quantity. So it's sometimes a nice way to step into it if you're not sure if this is a good idea. Gosh, 50 cases, we can go through that. If we see no positive effect, well, we're not out a ton of money. And it's kind of the gateway drug for standard private labeling. A lot of folks end up moving into it. And when we move into the standard private label, just reiterating some previous information, it's got a 250 case minimum order quantity, takes a little bit time to set up that first order. Once we do have the printing plates and everything made for you, the second order, the third order, the 10th order, those happen much, much quicker. But it's that initial order takes 6 to 8 weeks. And there are some color limitations. We can literally do any color, but we can only do a total of 2 colors. And we have to split those up so that there's 2 colors on one side and 1 color on the other. And you can see that as an example on this one. I've got customers that under the glue put their marketing message and it says, call today for free identification or for a professional advice or something like that. And there it is. The customers, you left it on their door. The customer has put it out in their garage. And on the other side of the glue board, we do provide them directions on how to do that. They put it in the garage under their sink somewhere where it's a high likelihood of pest activity. And you've got a cricket or a spider or a centipede or something caught on that, and it's literally right above your logo. It's right above your phone number, right above your marketing message. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. Just to brag a little bit, we did in April of 2025, we did receive some accolades for this. The P&P magazine gave us an award for such a unique and kind of innovative use of a long used simple tool that we've all used out in the field, and we've just turned it into a really nice, inexpensive marketing tool as well. There's some quotes from some existing customers who are getting great results from it. So with that said, I don't have much more to say aside from what a couple of questions that I put up on the screen just because they're the most common ones. Which product option would be the best for me if I want to try a private label? And the answer is there are some 2 or 3 products which are very, very commonly used, but we would want to talk to you about it and say, hey, this is, what do you want to do with this? And we can guide you towards the correct product. But understand that we have insect monitors, we have rodent monitors, we have door hangers, we've got options. So whatever you're trying to do with it, we can do it. What's the process look like? The process is, we try to keep it as simple as possible. We design a logo, not a logo, a proof for you. So what we would do is ask you for a high definition file that contains your logo, and our graphic designers would put together a design that we think would make sense for you, and then we send that to you, and you say, I love it, and you sign off on it, and we're ready for an order. Or you say, I don't like it, I want to change that, put this here, change that, put that there, take this off, put this on. So you've got full control over what we're putting out there. I do recommend that we start with our design, unless you have an in-house marketing department that is not busy. I find that in-house marketing and in-house design processes take so long that it's usually easier for us to just come up with something, and even if you have to change it, it's much quicker and easier for you. What do you get after you order a private labeled glue board? Well, it's the same as anything else, other order that you get from Catchmaster. I cover the Western United States. I have 5 other colleagues that cover the rest of the country, and we're all here to be of service. We're here to provide you technical, sales, just logistical backup and support. So once you've placed that order, we'd like to keep in touch with you, and we'd like for you to say, hey, this is working great, or hey, I'm having a little trouble with this or that, and we can hopefully troubleshoot that with you and provide you additional service to make sure that the money you're spending on our products is well spent. Honestly, there's so many companies these days that just want to sell you something and then you can't even reach them on the phone. We don't want to be that. We want to be your resource, and we want to provide value throughout the life of our relationship, which is hopefully very, very long. With that said, that's right at 30 minutes, and that's our private label program. Are there any questions that I can answer? Chris, are you able to hear me? Well, I'm not sure if we've lost audio with Chris. We had this happen as we were preparing, so she may be struggling to try to get on right now. But what I'm going to ask you to do is please take a snapshot of my contact information on the bottom right there. Ignore the goofy picture and give me a call or give me an email if I can answer any questions that I haven't answered here today. You probably, depending on where you're located, you probably already know your Catchmaster rep. You can call them. They know everything that I know, and would be delighted to answer your questions about private labeling or anything else. So with that said,
Jim, can you hear me?
yes, I can. Yes, there you are. Chris,
Jim, can you hear me?
I sure can, yes.
I I I apologize for that, folks. I don't know what the heck happened there, but
It's okay. I was getting ready to start telling dirty jokes, so thank goodness you came back on. No,
all
but
right. Well,
we're all finished, and I was just asking if anyone had any questions.
and
Did
yes,
you
and
have
there
any
are
pop
some
up?
questions that did come in. So,
Okay.
one's asking, what's the benefit through marketing on throwaway items that go to current clients?
Well, there isn't. Well, there isn't an opportunity to grow if you're giving them to current clients, but there is an opportunity to retain. And we're finding, frankly, we didn't think this would be something that would be workable, but we're finding that a lot of our pest control company customers give these to their current customers, and they say, "Hey, here's your uh, free gift from us. And just if you see something you want to catch it, you see a cricket running around, put this underneath your sink, just they provide them as sort of a free giveaway, and that they're getting a lot of public relations benefits from that, getting a lot of customer satisfaction benefit from it. So it's not really a grow, but it's a keep. But certainly, as you're servicing that existing customer, there's an opportunity to grow by clover leafing. And you've already stopped your truck there. Go to the house next door on both sides, go to the house across the street, and private labels are a great way to reach those customers.
Jim, the next one is complimenting you on a job well done.
Oh,
And they are also asking, do the door hangers have instructions as to how the customer should deploy them and what to expect?
yes. In fact, maybe I can buzz backward here real quick. Yes, the answer is very absolutely yes. If you look at this, I know I'm bouncing around here. If you look on the right side here, on the non-glue side, the bottom half of this door hanger glue board is um, is instructions. And hi, sorry we missed you. We wanted to provide you a free gift. You can kind of say whatever you like there. Um, this one just says use this free of charge pest monitor to protect your home from unwanted pests 24/7. Simply follow the instructions, put it in likely locations, blah, blah, blah. And you can change all of that. But then down below, it gives literally, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and photographs. And thus far, we've had no problems with customers, end users out in the field, consumers. They seem to understand it.
Very good. Um, this next question is asking, who should we email the logo to?
That would depend on where you're located. In fact, why don't you just email it to me, and I will reply back with if I'm your representative, then I'll take care of it, and I'll return your email. And if not, I will send it to your local representative, because there are 6 of us across the United States, and I will direct you to the right person. They'll put together your design and get this process started with you. But just
Very
send
good.
it to me to start with, and there's my contact information again.
Perfect. And then you got another kudos for very, very impressive. So,
Oh, well, thank
yeah,
you.
very informative.
I
So,
think I always get the best compliments when I speak the shortest amount of time. So I
well, let
so
me check one last time. No, I think those are all the questions that have come into the queue. So I just want to say thank you for attending today's webinar. Again, later today, you'll receive a follow-up email with a short survey and the recording of today's session. And we'd appreciate it if you would share your feedback with us. On behalf of our speaker and Veseris, we sincerely thank you for choosing to spend your time with us today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
have a good day now.